Imagine your brain as a garden. Intimacy, like sunlight and water, nourishes this garden, helping emotions and thoughts flourish. Both emotional and physical intimacy positively impacts the brain by releasing hormones like oxytocin and dopamine, which promote feelings of connection, pleasure, and well-being, while also potentially reducing stress and improving mood. However, a lack of intimacy can negatively impact brain health, potentially leading to increased stress, anxiety, depression, and loneliness, as well as impacting self-esteem and executive functioning. Intimacy isn't just about physical closeness, it's the deep connection we share with others. So what exactly happens in our minds when we lack this essential connection? It disrupts your oxytocin and cortisol levels. Ever notice how a hug or a deep conversation can feel just as satisfying as a good meal? That's because intimacy triggers oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which reduces stress and strengthens emotional connections. Without it, cortisol, the stress hormone, stays high, making you feel anxious, on edge, and emotionally drained. Over time, this can lead to chronic loneliness, increased inflammation, and a higher risk of mental health issues like depression. Your brain is wired for closeness, and without it, it struggles. It tricks you into expecting rejection. Lack of intimacy doesn't just make you feel lonely, it rewires your brain to believe you deserve to be alone. Studies show that when people lack social bonding, their anterior cingulate cortex, the part of the brain that processes pain, lights up, reacting to social rejection the same way it would to a physical injury. This makes people withdraw even more, reinforcing a cycle of isolation. In other words, the less connection you have, the harder it becomes to seek it out. It warps your self-perception. Intimacy is like a mirror. It's through our connections with others, the way they laugh at our jokes, listen to our stories, and comfort us when we're down, that we build a stable and positive image of who we are. Their reactions provide constant, subtle feedback that tells us, you are valued, you are understood, you belong. But when that mirror is taken away, what happens? When you lack close relationships, your brain doesn't just stop thinking about social connection. It goes into overdrive trying to figure out why it's missing. This is where the default mode network, DMN, comes in. Think of the DMN as your brain's internal monologue, the part that's active when you're daydreaming, reflecting, or thinking about yourself and others. Neuroscientist John Cacioppo discovered that in lonely individuals, this network becomes hyperactive. Your internal monologue, which should be a space for gentle reflection, becomes a harsh courtroom. Your brain begins to relentlessly overanalyze every past interaction, searching for clues about what went wrong. That conversation from last week? You'll replay it endlessly, convincing yourself, I must have said something stupid. That's why they haven't texted back. That party from a month ago? Everyone else seemed to connect so easily. There must be something fundamentally wrong with me. Without the positive, real-world feedback from others to counteract these thoughts, your mind is left to fill in the gaps. And because our brains are wired to watch out for threats, it almost always fills those gaps with the worst-case scenarios. This creates a painful feedback loop. Loneliness leads to intense self-criticism, which erodes your confidence, making it even harder to reach out and form the very connections you need. Stress becomes harder to handle. Imagine your life is a car driving down a bumpy road. Every challenge, a deadline at work, a difficult conversation, a financial worry, is a pothole. Intimate connections act as your car's suspension system. They don't remove the potholes, but they absorb the shock, making the ride smoother and more manageable. This stress suspension is managed by a tiny, almond-shaped part of your brain called the amygdala. The amygdala is your brain's fire alarm, constantly scanning for danger. When it senses a threat, it triggers the fight-or-flight response, flooding your body with stress hormones like cortisol. Affection, whether it's a hug from a partner, a supportive phone call with a friend, or even just kind words, acts as a powerful, all-clear signal to the amygdala. It releases oxytocin, which calms the fire alarm down and tells your body it's safe. When you lack intimacy, that fire alarm never gets turned off. It stays on high alert, meaning even small stressors can feel like major emergencies. Your partner being 5 minutes late feels like a catastrophe. A simple critique at work feels like a personal attack. Over time, this chronic state of high alert does serious damage. The constant flood of cortisol can actually cause the hippocampus, the part of your brain vital for memory and emotional regulation, to shrink. This creates a devastating double whammy. Not only is your brain's fire alarm more sensitive, but the part of your brain responsible for calming you down and putting things in perspective is weaker. You become more reactive to stress and have a much harder time bouncing back from it. Pain feels worse. Have you ever accidentally bumped your arm and immediately rubbed it to make it feel better? That instinct is a perfect example of how touch can modulate pain. Our bodies have a built-in, natural pain relief system, and intimacy is one of its most powerful activators. When you engage in affectionate physical contact, from sex and cuddling to simply holding a friend's hand, your brain releases endorphins. These chemicals are the body's natural opioids. They function like morphine, blocking pain signals and producing a feeling of well-being. When you're deprived of regular affection, you're essentially operating with a diminished supply of this natural painkiller. It's like turning up the volume dial on all your body's discomforts. A headache that might have been a minor annoyance can feel debilitating. Chronic conditions like back pain or arthritis can feel more intense. That study on migraine sufferers is a powerful example. The flood of dopamine and increased blood flow from physical intimacy provided tangible, powerful relief. Without that buffer, your brain's perception of pain is amplified. You're not just missing the emotional comfort of a hug. You are literally missing a neurochemical process that helps your body manage physical distress, making every ache and pain harder to tolerate. It can make relationships feel less secure. Think of emotional security in a relationship like a fuel tank. Positive, intimate interactions are the fuel that keeps it full. A compliment, an affectionate touch, a shared laugh, or a deep conversation. Each one adds a little bit of fuel, reinforcing your brain's belief that the connection is strong and safe. This process is driven by dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter that's central to the brain's reward system. When your partner does something that makes you feel loved and connected, your brain releases a hit of dopamine. This not only feels good, but also tells your brain, this is a valuable, stable connection. Keep investing in it. When there's a lack of intimacy, that stream of dopamine slows to a trickle. The fuel tank runs low. Your brain stops receiving those consistent, everything is okay signals, and in their absence, starts scanning for threats. It begins to question the stability of the bond, even if nothing is actually wrong. This uncertainty manifests in anxious behaviors. You might start over-analyzing your partner's tone of voice, needing constant reassurance that they still love you, or feeling pangs of jealousy over minor things. This creates a tragic irony. The insecurity born from a lack of intimacy can lead you to act in ways, like being clingy or emotionally distant, that can actually push your partner away, damaging the very connection you're so desperate to protect. And it messes with your sleep. Struggling to fall or stay asleep? Lack of intimacy might be why. Physical touch and emotional closeness trigger oxytocin and prolactin, hormones that lower stress and promote relaxation. Research shows that people in affectionate relationships experience deeper, more restful sleep. Without these soothing signals, the brain stays on high alert, leading to restless nights and chronic fatigue. Your brain is designed for connection. Without intimacy, it struggles, leading to higher stress, distorted self-perception, difficulty handling emotions, and even physical pain. The good news? Rebuilding intimacy doesn't always mean romantic relationships. Close friendships, meaningful conversations, and even self-compassion can help. Your brain just needs a little warmth to thrive. And here's the real question. If intimacy is so vital for our well-being, why do so many of us neglect it? Whether it's fear of vulnerability, past wounds, or simply getting caught up in daily life, we often push connection to the back burner. So, what's one small way you can invite more intimacy into your life today? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.